Hey, yo, yo, yo. So, I just want to give a bit of an explanation of a piece. This, I have been posting it a little bit lately, like launching it or soft launching it, if you will. Um, Jokes aside. But yeah, so this was inspired by experiencing people. Um, yeah, experience people, guys. Just like go out there, make horrible decisions, if you will. Um, you know that you can live with, and experience people. Um, get to be around people. Um, you'll learn more than what they actually say. I mean, how they move, how they behave, the way they do things for you or to you, and towards other people, especially like really insignificant people. You learn a lot about people. Um, so with this particular piece, it was inspired by people, a person who was very tumultuous in their being, very seemed very calm and collected on the outside, very fun and bubbly personality on the outside, which, always came off a bit too strong or just a bit too forced. But I guess, with a lot of people were all wearing masks and all, even me, I have a way of operating when I'm outside and depending on who, I'm engaging with, I have a way of addressing them and communicating with them. So this piece basically, is sort of referencing the fact that a lot of people go out here not knowing who they are, um, and that energy can be read deeper than you think, that you're giving it off, no matter how much you try to conceal it. There are people out here, there's some of us who can actually just go around, look at you, get to spend a few moments in your space, and, you know, we know everything about you, and it's hard to justify, I think, in like a normal way. As in, like, yeah, we may seem well nonchalante, but like, we know what's going on, hey? We know your deepest, darkest secrets. I'm kidding. But yeah, so, it started off as just a charcoal, as you can see here, which I actually want to take a piece of charcoal right now and do something. Do I have anything close by? So it started off as just charcoal. Um, I just felt like drawing again on a big surface. Let me get my charcoal little charcoal thing. Um, but yeah, so it started off as just a charcoal piece, and I've had it like this since May. So I had it as just charcoal since May, June last year, I think. That was that, and soon after, or this year, as I got back, because I hadn't touched it for a very, very long time, for like a couple of months. All I was doing was just looking at it, but it felt kind of empty. I had thought maybe let me do like a red halo or something. I just wanted to incorporate red a lot. Like I was just like, red, 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 red. Where can I put this red? How can I turn this into like this atrocious looking face? It was already atrocious in my view, but I just wanted to make it even more like, oh, glory and distortions and just like monstrous or creature like in resemblance. And yeah, I don't know. It was just a way of expressing maybe what I experienced of this person. Because I mean, like, I think we as people, we think that our subconscious doesn't speak. Oh, it speaks. It speaks. And when you've got to the people who've got aerials around you, they all don't I? and be like, oh damn, this is what your subconscious is really like. This is who you really are like. So those are always things to consider. It's like, we try to hide as people, but like everything will always come out on the surface. Eventually, the darkness, light has to reach every single part of the darkness at some point. So yeah, this is like sort of one of those pieces where it's like, oh, fix that subconscious, not fix, but like expose it. If you're monstrous, if you're ugly, if there's just that, live with it, be okay with it. Um, we all carry a level of just being ugly in a sense, whether we've experienced ugly things, whether we generally are just ugly people, or whatever thing or whatever weight that we're carrying that just makes us ugh, uncomfortable beings. And I once was told by someone that you're very intimidating, and intimidating in such a way that you walk around as a trigger. I was told that I walk around like I'm a trigger. So I can see all the performance and whatnot, but like that's not what I will see. I'll see what you're trying to hide through that performance. Whether I like it or not, I'll always know. I would like look at the details. The details will just like reveal, things will reveal themselves to me. And there's never really a good way of putting it into words because I always seem crazy. I've just been accustomed to that. I've always been accustomed to like knowing things maybe before they, or um, not always. This is not an always situation. I don't think I'm psychic. I just, sometimes when the antenna hits right, when everything is doing what it needs to do, maybe I'm also open to it. Sometimes I'm not really open to it. I'm like, I really do not want to know. Just want to mind my business. I just want to, experience nice things, nice people, you know. But let me try and be service level with people and not get to feel what they're feeling. Does that work? Nope. So, uh, you know, I guess this was really just one of those. And then I just came in about a week ago or just before that. And then I was just like red. And I just went for it because I was just so scared to touch it in terms of like it was already just giving power, ethereal, creature like presence. For lack of better words, for the mere lack of better words, I mind you. um, so it's just one of those, and I just, sometimes coming back with finer details. There is a rate that I want that I do not have right now. I think I could finesse in one of these little. It's a it's a bright red. I don't know if I do have a bright red here available. Where is the bag with the other paint? Bingo. See, obsession. Obsession. What am I going to use? Yes. Okay, let's do this. Okay. So I want to come in with that vibrant red and just in those certain areas, not everywhere. It's just I like contrasts of red. As you can see, I've got mauve. Mauve is the darkest red that we see here. I've got is it mauve? We've got crimson red. Yeah, this is old mauve. We've got crimson red. We've got um there were other reds that were here. I don't know. Maybe I finished it or something. I don't know what happened to that. I've also got a bit of this pouring ink. Destroying ink. I think this is Scarlet. Yeah, this is Scarlet. And yeah, so just playing around with all the different types of reds. Um, I think like some of my most powerful pieces are, resemblances of all these different types of reds, and they might have some sort of color in between and underneath. Looking at some of my faces and some of like the distorted figures that I've worked on, and I love figures because, ew. Um, I'm not going to lie, my vocabulary is horrible. I'm not one to be short on words. Right? Am I? I need to go read. Um, but yeah, so you know, I just want tinges of it. Nothing too overt yet because I want to see it when it dries. So with this paint, when it dries, it darkens. But most of these, not my favorite to work with, but we work with what we got. You know, I'm working with what I got. Mariah said. Um, I mean, I'm really loving it. There's like a level of vibrancy that's going on, a little, that vibration that it's a moving, um, portrait of or figurehead. Um, yeah, I think that's it. That's really it. So, just a quick tip: if you want to be around an artist, make sure that they don't feel your things. But they will because I mean, yeah, energy never lies. I think it's just that thing with people how, people will say, "Yeah, energy, energy, energy." Absolutely, energy never lies. Energy is very readable. There are different levels of energy that you emit, and I think one of the most beautiful things about artists is that they can bring that forth and create something, about it or with it. And this is what I've done. Taken an energy and then just put it in a painting, you know. Okay, now that I'm looking at it through the camera, I'm realizing there are places where I feel like I need to accentuate. Maybe it's either I go in with the charcoal or I go in with my red again. Um, but yeah, it's sometimes it's difficult to ignore, but it's ignorable. I mean, we can ignore each other as people, but I think we're people. We're not meant to be islands. We were never meant to be islands. We still struggle now. No matter how much we're like, oh, I'm just living for me, we struggle. You will always struggle as a human being if you think you don't need people for something. You will always need people. Um, we can somewhat try and survive without people. It's doable, but there will always be a level of miserability. And then when you try to engage with people again, they will trigger you because you generally just have not put yourself in a position to deal with people in front of people. I remember, you know, being in a certain space where I was always confronted by this person, and I ended up being okay. That was like the weirdest time of my life, and because the energy was just so overpowering and so. But then, and at that time, my energy was like very low. It was very. It was like this flickering light that wants to get out, but something is blocking it in a way, and that's what sort of happened um, at the beginning, and then it just got brighter and brighter and brighter until I was like toe to toe, tit for tat, and I'm like, Today is a show day, right? Today is show day. You've come to the arena, so am I here. We are doing this. And I think it was a wonderful experience, which taught me a lot about myself in terms of being able to just deal with people. I can see them where they're coming from. I don't have to accept everything. Um, and I can very much be my own person. I think that kind of growth is so rare to be able to grow in front of people who challenge you so much and who's just so overpowering and so overbearing. It's scary for a lot of people. And I was scared, but I was like, yo, being me, sometimes I used to say this thing of I'm a bulldozer. Whatever is in front of me, I don't care. If I need to break it down, I'll break it down. And that's scary. You end up being like this overwhelming being in front of people, but it's like if people are not willing to meet you there, then so be it. You'll become intimidated or what. But there are people who are just like it's like riding a Mustang, a horse, the actual horse, the wild horse. It's a wild horse, and trying to tame a wild horse, it's not meant to be tamed. It only um, acknowledges a certain type of person and a certain type of presence, right? Um, and I love horses. I love horses. I remember riding a horse when I was a kid. But yeah, no, I love horses. But yeah, I think that's the greatest analogy. Or even looking at an eagle. An eagle is quite a very powerful bird, lonesome, powerful bird. Um, it's difficult to tame. Very, very difficult. You need to sort of be in a certain level or alignment with that creature. Um, but yeah, no, uh, just as an analogy, just trying to put things into a way that maybe people will understand what's where I'm coming from. But yeah, so those kinds of experiences always translate. So this is, the kind of work I've made different kind of works before. Maybe let me show you this one that I was referencing. My favorite piece of them all. Ah, so heavy. Oh my gosh. Ah, I've become such a tender little girl. Oh my goodness. Ah, so heavy. So it's not far off, right? Looking at this and then looking at that. Not far off whatsoever. We just keep creating these very otherworldly, crude looking beings. Some of my favorite. I need to actually fix this canvas because it wasn't stretched very well. It's not supposed to be bouncing like that. It's too loose. So what I can do is just paint the back of it. Should probably do that soon. But yeah, just a little bit of a backstory of these things. It's just well, this particular piece mostly comes from the idea of tapping into the one that I just showed. Hence, I think these are also just a continuation of that. Tapping into your ugly, tapping into your not so good side, your darkness, if you will. Understanding how bad it can get, how bad you can become, how horrible you can become, all that grog, all that disgusting um, essence. Um, you know, because I do think we need to always find a balance. We need to understand each other, or not each other, eventually each other. But if you understand yourself, as to how horrible you can become in whatever state, how and also understanding how good you can also you are, and finding balances to sort of deal with the world that we're in. Um, So essentially that's that, you know, all your experiences, all your the things that we like to hide, the things that we don't like to confront, the things that we don't like to bring to the surface. I think it takes a very um, brave individual or individuals or people to who are like, you know what, let me confront myself. I'm not good. I'm not all that good that I think I am. This is me, you know. There are areas I definitely want to keep working on for the greater good, maybe of the people around me, the people that I love. But if ever I'm confronted with certain things, I know how to work my way. Um, because life, that it's just life. Life will throw anything and everything at you that it wants to. And you need to learn how to like navigate that. Sometimes you can't just navigate it by saying, well, I only want to be good. No, you can't. Sometimes you need to bring out certain aspects of who you are, but you must know them. They mustn't become something that's over. I think where we don't know the horrible, the how worse or how horrible we can get as people, we end up being run or ruled by those things. Um, and say, yeah, this is just me. No, you do need to put in the work. You know, there is that level, there is that thing where you really do need to just sort of, but, you know, there was this little statement that I sort of wrote was, know the extent of your cruelty. You don't have to use it, but know how far your cruelty runs. It's a very important thing that you know how bad you can get. Um, because when you snap, when that light or that switch goes off, um, you're not going to be overwhelmingly overrun by it. You can still come back to being a human and realizing that no, this is as far as my thoughts can definitely go. They could get really horrible. Um, how can I now deal with that? How can I work with that and find the best way or the proper way? Because if I act on that, that's the issue. I think that a lot of people, we end up having all this kind of violence and whatnot, is that because we don't know how bad we can get, we always think, no, we must have this facade of being like the best people out. No one cares. No one, you know, people will experience the bad of you. You must understand that there are people in this world who are just always going to experience the ugliness of you. They won't like you. They'll be, and it happens. It's, you know, it could be just a chance encounter or whatever they trigger, whatever you trigger in them. Um, that's that. That's that. But yeah, so I just ended up going on a whole nother tangent. And I just wanted to introduce this little bad boy. I'm still here to name this one. That's also something else to pay attention. I'm still here to name. Mm, I need to read. That's something different. And there is a book that I'm sort of like looking at um, reading, which is the Wisdom of Psychopaths. This is looking at all kinds of people, saints, presidents, rulers. Uh, you know what? We could learn from these kinds of people and how they operate and the extremism. Yeah, the extremist aspect of a human's mind. Um, but yeah, I think it will be fun, and then maybe I'll be able to also explain a little bit better, and I'll probably also find a name. But